Hey everybody, this is T.1 coming at you with another Game of Thrones review. This time we're looking at Game of Thrones Season 2. Right off the bat, Season 2 is a badass season. The first thing you see is the Hound knocks some guy off King's Landing. The Hound is kind of like if Kratos were a Game of Thrones character, and he is possibly my favorite character in the show. I even bought his action figure, I'm not wrong about that. Stop laughing. But he doesn't really become a main character until Season 3, so I'm not really going to go into him a whole lot. He's cool, good story. Joffrey almost kills this knight named Dantos, but Sansa actually does something useful and saves him by suggesting he should be the king's fool. We then see Tyrion has been made the new Hand of the King, a position previously occupied by Ned Stark in Season 1 by his dad, Tywin Lannister, who's kind of a dickhead. This season, Tyrion and Bronn are so fucking cool. This is the season where Tyrion definitely plays a bigger role, and his friend Bronn is like a stand-in for Jaime. Jaime being captured, not getting much to do, we need someone really smug and cool, and Bronn fills that role perfectly. Meanwhile, this season the War of Five Kings is in full swing. A new threatening force arrives in Stannis Baratheon, a ruthless warrior and a recent convert to the Lord of Light, believing that he is the chosen one by that god to one day rule. Stannis is merciless. He assassinates his own brother just to eliminate competition for the throne. Stannis' second in command is Davos Seaworth, otherwise known as the Onion Knight. Okay, you can laugh all you want at that, but he's still a fucking awesome character. He's not overtly keen on Stannis being a worshipper of Lord of Light. However, Melisandre is. Melisandre, you may know her as that chick who had the demon baby. Doesn't really, I don't really have much to say about her. She's not all that interesting of a character, in my opinion. She burns some statues of the Seven, but doesn't really do much this season. Anyway, over to Robb Stark. He's actually proving himself as a gifted commander, winning every battle that he has fought. Jaime is captured, doesn't do much, but still a fucking badass. On to another Stark. Arya is still awesome. Hanging out with a group of people patrolling the outside of King's Landing. She's posing as a boy, so a couple people find out, like Gendry and later Tywin, but she's actually kind of convincing. I guess it's the short hair. I don't know. But eventually, her group is slaughtered by Lannister soldiers. She saves 3 prisoners before being captured, and she, along with the survivors, are taken to Harrenhal, where they are basically slaves. She meets one of the 3 prisoners, named, I think, Jaqen. I'm not quite sure. He's kind of like a character from Assassin's Creed mixed with the chameleon from Spider-Man. He can change his face and owes her 3 deaths. This is an example of something I really wish they used more in the show. After, this character, he really, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with this character, but after this, he kind of just disappears. Some of you are probably wondering what Daenerys is doing this season. Well, unfortunately, even though in most areas this season is far superior to the first, Daenerys' storyline is less interesting than it was in Season 1. Luckily, in Season 3, her storyline is one of the most interesting storylines in the show, but here all she really does is burn a guy that looks like James Carville, and that's it. I mean, her and Jorah is still a really cool pair of characters, but let's just say this season really belongs to the Lannisters. They're the most interesting this season, definitely. And I'm going to be honest. Straight up, Episode 9 of this season, Blackwater, is like probably the best episode of the show. It's one huge battle in which Stannis attempts to take King's Landing, and I don't think I've ever seen a battle this awesome. The scene where Bronn fires a flaming arrow and that wildfire explosion just, kaboom! I mean, I don't think I've ever seen an explosion in my life that awesome. Now, the wildfire definitely decimates a great deal of Stannis' ships, but he still makes it ashore with tons of soldiers. The Hound, otherwise known as Game of Thrones Kratos, he tries to fight back, but he sees this dude, burn right in front of him. And for those of you who don't know, he has a deathly fear of fire. His brother, burned him when he was a kid over playing with the toy. I'm assuming the Clegane family were very harsh. He wasn't a loving brother. Wait till you see what he does to Oberyn in Season 4. Oh my god. Anyway, back to Blackwater. After he sees this dude burn, he gives a final fuck you to Joffrey, tries to convince Sane to come with him, which doesn't really work, and then he just bolts. I mean, he's gone. Tyrion, however, he leads the troops and fights so hard, but eventually this guy slashes his face open, and for a while you almost think he's dead, but eventually Tywin comes in and slaughters Stannis' men. Stannis and Davos, they still survive, but almost everyone else is gone. I almost forgot about Jon Snow again. And really, until Season 3, his storyline isn't all that interesting. But he meets a wildling girl named Ygritte. They kind of have a relationship. And, I'm going to be honest. Jon Snow, until Season 3, I just don't like his story. Yeah, Maybe it's just because I fucking hate winter now. I mean, if you live around here, like, and probably the other chaos could answer this, the winter here sucks. So, I really don't like snow. But, oh, and his friend Sam, who I really like. I don't know about you guys, but I really like the character Sam. He's probably the character in the show that I most relate to, and Hodor. But, anyway, he sees, this, army of White Walkers approaching the wall, which is probably one of the scariest scenes in Game of Thrones. I mean, the demon baby, that was pretty scary when Melisandre gives birth to the shadow, but other than that, holy shit. Um, and on that final ominous note, season 2 concludes. This season kicked ass. It's just as good as the first, if not better. I mean, there are some things I kind of wish they'd done. Like, I really wish Daenerys' story was more interesting. And, Jon Snow. Come on, man. Oh, and I kind of wish they'd used Jaqen more. But other than that, this season was really good. Anyway, join me next time when I review season 3. This is T1, signing out.